Alright, so I know this game review is somewhat late. I would like to get it out the same day after the game, but after after watching that game yesterday, I didn't have the energy to do it. I had to sit and just process everything I saw for a whole day because it was a lot of stuff. But let's get into it. So the Philadelphia Eagles lose to the Baltimore Ravens in a final score of 30-28. And just by looking at the final score, and if you watch that game, you've seen how many things went wrong in this game for us and just how many opportunities we didn't capitalize on. To end up the final score being 30-28, we lose by 2 points. That just shows you basically how different this team could be looking if we did capitalize, if injuries weren't a factor, if everything was set in place. It just shows you how different this team could be looking. To lose by 2 points to one of the best teams in the league after, like, it was terrible the first half. It was horrendous to lose by 2 points. That just shows, like, this team, if we had our full roster and if we just had everything clicking, this team could be way better than what it is now. It could be way better, but that's not the fact. It's not the case right now. We're a bad team right now, and we lost. We didn't win, so you can't look at it that way. We lost. But let's just the O line yesterday. I mean, you can only expect the O line to be that bad when no one on that O line is a starter. Yesterday, there was a point where Carson Wentz and Jason Kelsey were the only two starters on offense. Just think about that. On offense, not even just, but no, just think on offense. The only two starters is your center and your quarterback. Everybody else went out with an injury or out with an injury. Just think about that. There were plays where we could have put points on the board where we didn't catch the ball. We missed field goals. Let's talk about the not catching the ball part. John Hightower misses like a 50-yard bomb on it's like a 3rd and 22. Just drops a pass, and that could be 7. He could have ran it in for a touchdown. He might not have, but that could have definitely been 7. Then Miles Sanders, wide open in the back of the end zone. He looks to the right, he looks to the left, finds the ball, puts his both his hands on the ball. Pause, normal, and he just flaps his hands and just does not catch the ball. So that right there is a potential of 14 points, depending if Doug would have kicked the field goal or went for two. Just say we scored a touchdown, he kicks the field goal. That's a potential of 14 points that we just didn't capitalize on. And then Jake Elliott, another missed field goal. So just think about that. The 3 extra points. We possibly just lost out on 17 extra points. Just say the final score is how it is, but then you just add on 17 points to our final score. We missed out on that. Just say the game panned out the rest of the way how it did. The same scores happened. We could have still had 17 more points in that first half. We didn't score in the first half. We had 0 points at the end of the first half when we could have had 14. We could have had like 10 maybe. So yeah, just missed opportunities to score the ball. Injuries continue to just flood through this organization and through this team. It's terrible. Now, there's bright spots in this game. Carson Wentz. Each game, so at each game from all right in the beginning of the season, the games that we lost were partially because of him. He was bad. You can't deny that. But ever since the 49ers game and maybe the end like the second half of the Cincinnati game, like the fourth quarter of the Cincinnati game, ever since then he's been getting better and better. He's been looking more like himself, but he's not fully there yet. But he's been getting better and better. He went out there in this game and he fought. He battled. He showed toughness. He showed grit, and he was basically the reason why we were in this game. He didn't give up, and the team piggybacked off of that, and they didn't give up either. Depending on, I mean, even with all the injuries and everything, they piggyback off of that. He led the team, and he put them in position to tie the game to win it. But Doug Peterson does a terrible play call to do a QB draw. I mean, a read option on a 2 point conversion when he actually did it in previously in the game on another 2 point conversion. He did the same play with Jalen Hurts that didn't get nothing. It didn't convert. He decides to do it again on a game tying 2 point conversion that revolves in the same result. I mean that ends in the same result. And I'm not gonna get into Doug right now. Let's go back to the bright spots. So Carson, yes, he battled. He had a great game. He fumbled the ball, yes. Still some things that he has to work on, but he had a good game. He had a great game in my eyes. Travis Fulgham, once he actually got in the game, which he wasn't in the game for like the first quarter into the second quarter, we thought that was gonna happen because Alshon and Deshaun came back. Deshaun were still rolled out and he didn't play this game, but somehow he still loses snaps to who? He just loses snaps somehow. But once he came in the game, he still looks the same. He's catching the ball. When it's thrown his way, he catches the ball. He had one drop, I think, but that's just I think it was on the sideline. He tried to catch the ball and basically possession catch it, fall down with it and catch it. I think he dropped it. But he's done the same thing. He's come in the game. When Carson targets him, he's usually open. If he's not open and it's a hard coverage catch, he still makes the catch. And a lot of people didn't know if he would be able to do that against the secondary, but he still did it. So that's another bright spot. Carson Wentz and Travis are basically right now going into the next game, and until we get healthy, they're the only reason to watch these games. Because right now, what our roster is looking like going into the Giants game is nothing. Like is reserves. It's the third stringers going into this game on the offensive side. So the only two people that I'm looking forward to watch is Carson and Travis. So those are bright spots that we see in that game. But other than that, it was just terribleness. Like it was just that's not even a word. It was just bad. Let's go back to Doug Peterson. I just don't understand. It's almost like you can predict literally his play calling throughout the whole game. It's so repetitive and just you can just see through it. It's so repetitive. It's like you know exactly what he's going to do. Like in the first half of the game, he's going to run the ball on first down, on second down, and then he's going to throw third and fourth. Like it's almost like every game that's exactly what he does in the first half. And then after halftime, the third quarter, the fourth quarter, he just doesn't run the ball. It's just just pass. It's just his play calling. I don't know. I don't know. We lost another game basically based on his play calling. And then after the fact, he goes and says, "Yeah, maybe it wasn't the right play. Maybe you should have called a timeout." Bro, I don't want to hear that after the game, after we lose the game because of it. I don't want to hear that. You have to do that during the game. That is your job. You have to call a timeout. When you see that play should not be ran, call a timeout. First of all, that play, you should have never even came to the line with that play drawn up. But that's just Doug for you. We had another opportunity to win another game that we shouldn't have won. When you come into the matchup, when you look at the matchups before the game against Pittsburgh and against the Ravens, we shouldn't have won. Now, me as an Eagles fan, I'm always going to take my team and say that we're going to win because that's how I feel as an Eagles fan. That's how everyone should feel. You should never really go into a game and pick the other team. You can say that this is going to be a hard game. The odds are stacked against us, But you should never go into a game and be like, yeah, we're not winning this. I don't believe in that. I believe we can win any game. I believe we can beat any team. But we keep falling and losing on play calling. It's not just Doug too. It's not just Doug. It's of course we're not healthy and drop passes, missed field goals. It's not just Doug, but it's been big opportunities in a game to win when you need your coach to go out there and call the right play and scheme up something good to win a game, where he has not done that and he has made the wrong decision every time. This team is looking our next three games: Giants, Dallas, Giants. You would think we can win those games based off the injuries that we just sustained during this game and that we already had going into this game. These games are going to be harder than what people are thinking. Now, like I said, I believe we're winning all three of these games. I think we will. But these games are going to be way harder than what they should have been if we had health. It's just, it's crazy, man, that we fall, we lose by 2 points. And watching the game in the first half, as a fan, if you're watching that game, you're probably thinking to yourself, Jesus Christ, this is about to be a blowout. This is about to be 40 to 7, 30 to 10, like just a blowout. But somehow we picked it up in the second half, fourth quarter exactly. 22 points in the fourth quarter, thanks to Carson Wentz. 22 points in the fourth quarter. Just just think about that. We scored 22 points in the fourth quarter. Imagine if we could have scored 7 in the first quarter, 7 in the second quarter. Like, just imagine we spread those points out throughout the whole game, or just added on to those points that we scored in the fourth quarter. Like I said, where we should have had 3 points from a field goal missed by. We should have had 3 points from a field goal missed by. I couldn't even think of his name. Jake Elliott. That's how bad he's been because he's just been missing field goals that aren't in 40 yards. That's like he's not reliable to make a long field goal at all no more. I don't know. He's not who we thought we were, but we should have had 3 points from Jake Elliott. Like I said, with the John Hightower drop, even if he doesn't run it in for a touchdown, we could still score that drive. We could still score 7, or you come out with a field goal again. So let's just say that could either be 7 or 6 points. So however you want to look at it, Miles Sanders, supposed to be our best playmaker on offense, drops a wide open touchdown pass in the back of the end zone. So that's 7. Or like I said, you don't know what Doug's going to do, if he's going to go for a 2 point conversion. You don't know what he's going to do, or kick the field goal. So, but just we had opportunities to add more points than what we already had at the end of the game. And obviously, if you score there, you don't know how the way the game changes. Like you don't know what actually happens the rest of the game. But just look at it like everything happens the same way it did. Just say we score on those possessions, and then everything still folds out the same way. We win that game. We win that game. Carson Wentz put more points on the board than Lamar Jackson if those plays went through and connected. We win that game. And I'm just tired of losing games. And then you look back and say, dang, we could have won that game if somebody would have caught this, if he would have made this field goal, if Doug wouldn't have caught this. It's just, it's enough is enough. Even with how, like, all the talent that we're missing, all the players, the key players that we're missing, at a point in time, yes, that's the reason why. But when you're looking at these games, they're still winnable somehow, and that just shows, like I said, how much better this team could be if we had our weapons. The fact that we're in these games with the top 5, 6, 7 teams in the league, people will have Baltimore like 5. People, yeah, some people, like I seen rankings. Baltimore is like the fifth best team according to people, and then the Steelers would be like the third, fourth. The fact that we're in these close games against these teams with this roster and the injuries and just the mishaps, that just shows you how good and dangerous this team could be in the future after this season is over and guys hopefully get healthy and we just have this new era of our receivers. Hope just it's just it's a lot of hopeful thinking, but these games are winnable. Basically, what I'm saying, and we keep coming out with an L. That's all I really got for y'all today, man. I'm just I'm just hoping we win these next 3 games. Like I said, it's gonna be way harder than what they would have been originally without all these injuries. But we gotta win these games. At a point, at a point in time, it comes to where Doug was perceived as one of the best head coaches in the league. Despite all these injuries, the teams that the Giants, the Cowboys, are winnable games. It comes to a point where Doug, as a head coach, you have to win us this game. You have to be immaculate in the play calling. Put Carson Wentz in the right opportunity. Put this team in the right opportunity and situations and spots with your play calling and your design and just your mindset. You have to win us these games. Carson is going to do what he does. He's going to mess up here. Hopefully not. He's going to miss some throws sometimes, but at the end of the day, he's going to keep playing. He's never going to give up. We need Doug. We need his coaching staff to back him up. We need his organization to back him up and help him because I just feel bad watching this dude and all the Eagles fans that hate him. I can never understand where you get this in your mindset to watch this dude go out there every game since he's been able to play, even with when he's been injured. But every game that he's been able to play, to watch him, he goes out there and he fights, and to act like he's just garbage, and we know that's not the case. I just know I don't know how you can say that and think that in your head, but that's all I got, man. You already know I'm gonna keep rocking with this team. We're gonna have to get some wins. It's gonna be hard, but we're gonna have to do it. Thanks for listening. Enjoy your day. I'm out. Peace.